everyone, and welcome to my video. Is it your first time listening or watching a video of mine? Welcome. If you subscribed, or watched a video, there's not many of you, but I really appreciate it. It's been a while since I posted, and the reason for that, by the title of the video, is that my boyfriend had a stroke in August 2021, and that had changed so much, and for not only in his life, of course, but also my life as well. And I wanted to be respectful and talking about this because I want to respect John and that, but I also know the struggles of going through it personally as a caretaker, and I only can imagine going personally if you were a person who had a stroke. And I knew that there was lots of information I was looking for at the time, and I thought, before I post any other videos, and if I were to mention just off the cuff that, with John's stroke, X, Y, and Z, that I would probably get, some questions. And really, I also know the frustration of looking for information and not having any information out there. So I'll try to give some information, try to keep a short video under 10 minutes. So John had a stroke, and from mouth, swallowing, speech, left arm, and left leg, he did not have any movement. It was quite abrupt. He had it in the morning, and his mom called me, and looking back, I have so many regrets. Like I should have stayed over that night, because John wasn't feeling good a few days beforehand, and I don't think there's ever anything getting over that of regret towards that, because maybe I could have been there to help him get help more immediately. So that's really hard for me. And so he was in the hospital for about a month. They did, it was back and forth. When he had other things going on, like a chest infection, and then had to get that treated, and it made operating and giving things for the stroke much more difficult. Eventually went upstairs in the Albany Med, and we did inpatient therapy for the time that John was in the hospital for the month. Left with some movement in the left leg, left arm not moving at all. Still, speech was difficult, and but had improved, and also swallowing was not possible. So when we left the hospital, we had visiting nurses and things like that. I had decided to move in not too long. I think it was like 2 or 3 months after John was released from the hospital, because I think it was I decided that it would be best if I were there, and John loves his family, and they graciously let me into their home. So it was a huge change to move out, and mentally as well. Like, you have all these set plans, and then this happens, and you have to reshift everything. And you go from just worrying about yourself, and yes, I didn't have to worry about getting John ready in the morning and dressing and all that stuff, and then I had to afterwards. So it was a huge change, and I kept on looking for information every day to figure out, like, what's the timetable. They keep on talking about a timetable of, like, 6 months. That's where you get your most progress. And then I read other information of, like, everyone's stroke is different, and so within that 6 months, yes, John was able to get off of physical therapy for his left leg. He was able to walk again. Great job. Motor skills in left arm we're still working with, and it's going to be a year in 2 months in August 2022. And so we were trying to do that. John got caught COVID during it, and then I got COVID, and that wasn't exactly fun. Still working on speech. Actually, today we're going for a reassessment for speech, because we had stopped it because they had said, for swallowing, let's take a break. Let's take a break and let's reassess later, because they felt like we weren't really making any progress there. So, you know, everything you're probably hearing is like, because I was paying attention to everyone's words very closely, it, you know, seems negative. But there is lots of things that are positive, because the transition is the hardest part. You know, like me getting up every day was really difficult, and I went through lots of anxiety, and of course there's depression. And fortunately, you know, my job, one, kept me very busy, and you know, taking care of John kept me busy, and I always had something to fill my time, so I couldn't think really about it. And when I did get those few moments, it was very difficult. So, you know, seek help if you can. One of the things I learned, if any advice I got out of this, you know, going through this right now with the stroke, is when you're looking for a physical therapist, or any therapist for anything, speech, anything, it's okay to request someone else or to seek other options if it's just not working out. So an example, we start off at this place I found around here in Clifton Park. Great place, very good, you know, as far as like the connection, a very positive environment, very great. And then we went to a reputable, very recommended place, and it was mainly for the speech and swallowing, and we found a really great individual there. And then they left, and then we continued speech with another person there, and they were very by the book, wouldn't do anything more than needed to be done. They really were just like, that's all we're gonna do, and you didn't really see like a social interaction. Really, it was like very business, it's very serious, which sometimes need a little optimism in this, and at least that's my recommendation. And then when the physical therapy, like we saw in the commercials for the facility, like all this equipment being used and special things, and the reality was, it's like, you know, John would be left with like a piece of paper. They would go, "Here, do the exercise. I'll come back in a few 15 minutes and we'll go." And also the appointment length was completely different. At the facility I found in Clifton Park, an hour, and they actually work with you and do those things, and yes, you'll get homework. In the facility, it was very recommended. It was a piece of paper, half an hour, and you, if you were late or they were late, you would not make up that time because they had a very tight schedule. And a lot of it had to do with, you know, the COVID and protocols and the short staffing, which yes is understandable. But another aspect, it just wasn't working as far as the relationships with, you know, the therapist, the new therapist for speech that we had in the facility. The other therapist when we moved to this facility was great, and you could see, like, for the patient, you know, John, it just wasn't really connecting. And, you know, that's when you have to make a decision, and that the best decision was to go back. And you know, John went to this new person, and they really did lots as far as, like, you know, let's open cabinets, let's do things that you would do every day. So that has been much positive, and John left a little more positive as well, and that's always a huge portion of this. And they'll do assessments to see how you're doing and everything. And you know, there has been improvement, and I find that, you know, when the person's actually, you know, trying and invested in it and believes in it, definitely could do a lot better. So that's a little bit of like everything that's been going on, you know, the moving, depression and everything. And I just wanted to throw it out there before I do any further videos, because I didn't want to like have me mention these things and just like try to ignore and be uncomfortable. So my next video is actually going to be, I ordered a box from Stately, and if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's like a clothing box, because I really wanted to focus on self-care. I'll be doing a video on that, and as you can see, like, geez, I feel like I need some clothing advice right now because I'm not sure how to dress anymore. So hopefully you got some information in this video. I'm sorry, it was like maybe like a ramble and just throwing out things, but I also was trying to maintain respect. Really appreciate you for watching today's video, and thank you, and I hope you're all safe and well. And until next time, see ya.